Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. We got preseason week 2 in the books, week 3 starting this weekend, and we're getting closer there to starting week 1 of the regular season. We're all looking forward to it. And Smokey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's football season, kinda. So
it's getting there. It's getting there, and we're getting through. We're progressing through training camp, the preseason. We're getting some insights into players and the way that teams are shaping up to be looking next season. It's definitely that time of year. So we're looking at preseason week 3 obviously today, and got all the games written down. Got to give our predictions and maybe recap really quickly what we have seen so far, starting off with the Giants and the Bengals.
Giants and the Bengals. I have the Giants in this one, man. This is going to be the... You know what? It was actually hard, though, because I'm wondering if they're going to run some more Daniel Jones on this one, being pretty much the dress rehearsal, or if they're going to switch and let Manning take a few. But either way, I think the Giants prevail on this one, man.
Yeah, I think so too. They're 2-0 right now. I guess it kind of depends on who you're playing to start in week 1, and since that's probably going to be Eli Manning still, why not let Daniel Jones take reps in the preseason? There's can't hurt. So I'm agreeing with you. I take the Giants. Mm-hmm. Ravens and the Eagles are next.
I actually am going with Baltimore on this one. I think they're going to run some more of that triple option and see what Lamar Jackson's getting into. And Philadelphia, they haven't been taking these preseason games very seriously.
No.
I'm looking forward to seeing some Carson Wentz, though. You know, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the what you mentioned, the Ravens offense worked pretty well so far. The 2-0,
yes.
been looking pretty well, and Lamar Jackson is doing a decent job of running the system. So I'll probably still agree with that, as in I'm going to pick the Ravens. Because of like you said, the Eagles don't really care too much about preseason. They don't have to figure out too many starting spots anymore, in my opinion. They're set as a roster because they're a very stable roster coming in from last year already.
Yep.
So I'm going with Baltimore there. Panthers and the Patriots.
Panthers and the Patriots. You know what? Apparently the Patriots are taking the preseason serious this year, which. You know, Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon should be.
Yes, he's back.
Running a few downs.
For sure.
I'm definitely. Carolina hasn't looked good this whole preseason, so I'm going with New England.
I'm gonna just be a contrarian and pick the Panthers because it's getting closer to preseason, and knowing Bill Belichick, right now it's getting to the point where starters don't need to take any more reps than absolutely necessary. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play many of those in week 3. So I'm just going to go with Carolina here. Next we have the Redskins, and I'm going to say it again: the worst record in the NFL preseason right now, Atlanta Falcons.
Well, only because of the extra game, of course. But
yes, well, they're 0-3.
You know what? I'm still picking the Falcons.
Of course you are.
In our previous meetings with the Redskins, Atlanta has walked all over them, but it's the preseason, and Atlanta doesn't win in the preseason. But,
exactly.
Like I said last week, they're due. I'm going with Atlanta.
They haven't won in 11 preseason games.
Exactly. It's 2016 and counting.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, when Matt Ryan was on the field, he scored at will. So.
Yeah.
The O-line
I'll take the Redskins. Why not? They also haven't won yet. They're 0-2, but that's a better record than 0-3. And I think Dwayne Haskins is going to get a couple of snaps. I think he's gonna find himself a little bit. And for the Falcons, though, on a positive note, no need to highly contest a lot of starting spots. So no need for Matt Ryan, Julio Jones to be taking a lot of snaps. Just conserve their energy for the regular season.
No, but you can bet on the drive that. I don't know if Julio is going to play, but on the drive that Ryan is out there, he will score.
All right, we'll see.
Just count on that.
We'll see. Got the Packers and the Oakland Raiders. 2-0 Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, and I am going with the Raiders because they have definitely been putting it on the line in preseason.
Yeah, they've been going for it. They really want it. They want to stay. They want to have an undefeated season, if it's only the preseason for sure.
Well, they want to have an undefeated Hard Knocks.
Yeah, all for TV, I guess. Maybe they should follow up during the entire regular season. Maybe like with All or Nothing. They'll start winning games all over. I'll just pick the Packers.
Do you think we see any Antonio Brown in this one?
I don't know. Is he gonna wear a helmet?
Apparently, he put one on and came to practice. So
basically every day I'm reading something different. Now he's okay with it. Now he's not. Following another grievance, threatening retirement, and you can tell the Raiders are already getting fed up with it. I'm really looking forward to seeing this develop on Hard Knocks too. But man, it's getting to the point where it's actually ridiculous, and I don't know.
Mayock has been outspoken about it in the media. So he's not happy with Antonio.
No.
Man, I'm glad I'm not a Raider. I mean, I do like the Raiders, but I'm not like a diehard.
You like the Raiders?
I do, yeah. I don't.
How come you like the Raiders? How does that happen?
Well, you don't like any California team except for the 49ers, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But no, there's just.
I kind of like the Chargers. I've never had anything against the Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the Chargers as
even
well.
though in LA. So Jaguars.
I only like the Chargers because of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, they also got a good defense, though, which is
that's true.
I appreciate that. So Jaguars and the Dolphins is next.
I'm going with the Jaguars here.
They're 0-2.
Yes, I know, but they're probably going to throw some Jalen Ramsey out there for a little while. We might see some Nick Foles throwing it down the field, and Miami is horrible, for lack of a better term. So, I think we're going to see a bunch of Josh Rosen. So I'll pick the Dolphins. Which is why they won't win.
No, which is why they will win. You're not a believer, are you, in Josh Rosen?
No, I'm not.
You've given up after one season behind the worst offensive line in the NFL.
No, well, I wasn't high on him coming into this last season either. Which we'll get into in a little bit, but Kyler Murray doesn't look great either behind that old line.
No, his first game looked fine. The second one, not so much. But that's expected from rookie struggles. I think Josh Rosen's gonna establish himself as a starter. Dolphins win this game. Browns and the Buccaneers.
And you know who I'm going with because they're in it to win it, and the Browns.
Yeah, they're not trying to leave any doubt. I don't think so. No, preseason, regular season, doesn't matter. They got their sail set for the playoffs.
They're just like the Raiders.
Yeah. Except the Raiders aren't going to make the playoffs.
Probably not.
Come regular season, they'll stop winning. The Browns might not. So I'll also pick Cleveland here. Bills and the Detroit Lions.
I'm going with my Buffalo Bills in this one because the Lions have looked absolutely horrid. I'm hoping though that Stafford does get it together because I really do see a positive regression coming for Matt Stafford and that whole offense. But in this one, I'm going with Buffalo.
I think I'll also pick Buffalo. A good reason is, or a big strength of that offense is just that first, second, third, even fourth string, you're going to have a starter, damn near starter quality running back, which is going to make this Bills backfield hellacious this season with Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, Devin Singletary.
I see a positive regression coming for LaShawn McCoy in that. So
he's been going super low in fantasy drafts too. Like he kind of disappeared off the map, but
he has rose just a little bit over these past past preseason game. So, and he looked really good. That's what
competition does to you, I guess. The Lions, I agree, have not been looking good at all so far. I'll pick the Bills. Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings.
Going with the Vikings.
All right.
I'm suggesting that Kyler Murray still doesn't get it together in this one.
He seemed to do that in game one. Everyone was praising him.
He looked great, but
generational talent sort of thing. But then he didn't.
But maybe all that praise went to his head too soon.
It's the preseason. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray looked really good in the preseason. Honestly, I said that before. Let him play 16 regular season games, full games against first string defenses, and you know how pass rushers look in the NFC West, right? You know what's developing over there.
Scary, so
he's not going to have a fun time in the regular season. I've said this so many times before, but I still believe this. He has to be Russell Wilson from day one, and if he's not, he'll have a bad time. For this one, let me pick the Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
I was just going to add to that, the cornerbacks and safeties that he has to throw around in that division is, a tough task at that.
Yeah. It's maybe not even the strongest, but to me the pass rush is the really big thing.
There's definitely some great pass rush.
You got these 6'3" and plus guys, and you got Aaron Donald.
Come on, you don't believe in Sherman and Aqib Talib anymore?
I mean, yeah, of course. Of course I do, but it's gonna be tough. He's gonna be facing some tough defenses, and we'll see how he ends up doing. In this case, we'll just pick him. It's preseason. Bears and the Colts, both teams are 0-2 so far, not looking good.
Yeah, I was expecting the Bears to look a little better than they have, but preseason, that's all we can say is preseason. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Colts. And I really don't know why, because in the preseason...
Andrew Luck is not playing.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck is not going to take a preseason snap.
I know, but
sure.
Jacoby Brissett has not looked bad.
No, he's not. That is true. I'll take the Bears. I think they're gonna give their defense a couple of drives, maybe one, but we know that they have a great defense. Obviously, they're not gonna play the whole game. I think the depth might just slightly favor Indianapolis, but I see this as a potential game where Jacoby Brissett makes some mistakes early against those starters and then kind of gets discouraged. So it's gonna be a close one, but I'll go with Chicago. Texans and the Cowboys.
Texans and the Cowboys. You know what? This is the battle for Texas, and I'm gonna take Texas. Houston,
Texas. All right. Let me also take Houston. Why not? Too much off the field drama with Dallas right now. Ezekiel Elliott, Jerry Jones. It's something you just don't want to hear this time of preseason. You had a full off season to figure all this stuff out, and now the stories come out. It's not very desirable. So
no,
not a good situation that they are now. Not like the Raiders, but it's still not good.
Did you see the interview where Jerry Jones was asked about Zeke, and he said, "Zeke who?"
Yeah, I saw that. Wow.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah, that couldn't be giving confidence to Zeke there.
No, that's rough.
It's high on Tony Pollard apparently, though.
Oh yeah, seemingly. I'm gonna take the Texans here, and I'm not gonna give the Cowboys too much of a playoff chance if Zeke is not playing. Saints and the Jets.
Both these guys coming off a win, a close win on both cases. Going with the Saints. We'll probably see Drew Brees get out there and hobble around for a drive or two. Yeah. I know you're high on Sam Darnold, and he'll probably get some playing time in this one.
I expect him to get at least a full half.
I would think so, yeah. But
so I'm gonna pick the Jets too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. He's got to throw past Marshawn Lattimore in this one, though. So.
Oh yeah, for like a drive.
Yeah, a couple of drives, I would say.
And I think he can do it too. Also, the Jets have like the sickest uniform in the league now. Like
I do like their uniform. I can't disagree with that.
I've heard people criticize it, like when the Buccaneers came out a couple years ago and they revealed their great new logo. It was just the same old logo, but the flag was a bit bigger. No, this one's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I like what the Jets are doing. It looks really sick. So yeah, I'm gonna pick them for winning and for style points too.
Can I just add that I hate the digital numbers on the Bucs uniform?
I'm not a fan. I'm really not.
Me either.
Yeah, I don't like the Buccaneers uniform that much anyway. In total, it's one of my less liked.
I didn't mind their color rush uniforms, but
yeah, the color rush all look pretty good actually.
Exactly. I hate that that's gone now.
We should make that a topic at some point. Rate people's helmets. 49ers and the Chiefs.
49ers and the Chiefs. I know who you're going with. You know what? I'm going with the Chiefs just because you're going with the 49ers.
Am I going with the 49ers?
You're going with the 49ers.
Well, yeah, I'm going with 49ers, obviously. Yes. Not if Garoppolo plays the way he did last week. If he takes a lot of snaps, because that was nothing. Okay, he was only given a couple plays. I understand that he hasn't played football in a year. By the way, last time he did was against these very Chiefs. And he got hurt, and frankly blown out for the most part. I think the 49ers are going to win it because he's going to step up. He's going to make some better plays, score a touchdown or two, play for bit over a quarter, and then Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard is going to keep getting the job done, and the 49ers have receivers that are starting quality and frankly just blowing up, it seems like, every week now, that are going to take snaps with the second, third string. Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurd, Kendrick Bourne even. The depth is rarely ever the problem on San Francisco. Hasn't been in the last couple of years, unless, of course, everyone gets hurt and your third stringers are now your starters. Which so far it's been okay. There's some nicks and bruises on defense, but not too major injuries. So I'll pick the Niners. Why not? Broncos.
Before we move on, leaving all jokes and friendly rivalries aside, I'm starting to feel worried about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Think so?
Yeah, man, he just.
I want to see a 16-game regular season.
What was the report about the 4 picks in a row in practice?
Five interceptions in a row. See, in practice, you can do whatever you want, and I can write this off as good defense.
Yeah, I get that, but man,
general rule is in training camp, you want your defense to be better. The game was bad. Okay, he got one drive. He didn't even complete a single pass. It seemed like a pass rating of 0. Obviously terrible, but that was a single drive. Yeah. If that exact same thing were to continue into the regular season, and in week 8 they're 1-7, and he's a bottom 5 quarterback in the league, I mean, I can see Nick Mullins playing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen that way, but he's gonna have to perform.
I mean, yeah, he's making the big bucks, but if that's the scenario, and I was Shanahan, I would definitely pull the plug and say, at least we. But
you got to give him some time, though. The one time he actually played, a couple of games was when he just got traded in, was running on a very limited playbook, and then start of last year he looked pretty good. Of course, got hurt way too early, along with too many people around him. Didn't lead too much, but give him a full 16-game season. Then we'll talk about his bigger picture again.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So the Broncos and the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams on this one.
Oh, they haven't won yet.
No, and Denver won. Let's see.
They won opening game against Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, that's their only win, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they played San Francisco.
Yeah. I'm still going with the Rams, man. They're due. I feel like it's like an Atlanta thing. They're due, and I don't. Flacco's not gonna do it, man. He's gonna lose that starting job, and Drew Lock's hurt already. He's got some kind of sore thumb issue.
I think Drew Lock is gonna end up the starter in Denver very soon, actually.
I think he will.
Which I think makes a lot of sense. He was my number 1 quarterback and one of my most refined quarterbacks too, coming out this year. And I think the Broncos can use it for sure. No need to throw him out more than necessary if he has potential injury issues, especially if he's going to be your starter. So I'm going to actually agree with you. Pick the Rams for a win because the Broncos are going to hold back a little bit, but that's fine. Seahawks and the Chargers.
Going with the Chargers on this one, just because they're the home team. Both of them have looked pretty much similar to me in the preseason.
In a lot of ways, very unspectacular so far. Chargers obviously have not managed to win a game, but both teams, I mean, especially the Chargers, I guess, that are gonna be focused with their sights on the playoffs and next year.
Yeah,
so they're not gonna.
Adam Thielen was going downfield all over Seattle.
Yes, that is true. That looked rough, but Adam Thielen's a good receiver. He can't hate on that too much. I'll pick the Chargers. Why not? I think they probably squeeze out a win. And next week, last week of preseason, we're obviously not going to be seeing much of the starters anymore. That's usually common practice because you don't want anyone to get hurt. And it's kind of the last sort of prove it test for people potentially on the roster bubble. But this time I think that they'll pull out some stops, bring us some starters, and win the game. And lastly, close out on Monday night, we got Steelers and Titans.
I'm going with the Steelers to go down and get the win in Nashville because the Steelers have looked fairly decent throughout the season.
They really have.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we haven't been expecting, of course, preseason always just limited tell, but we've not been expecting the Steelers to. Well, I think kind of everyone thought that the Steelers were going to regress. I mean, you lost Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Now, the question is with losing those people on the field is you also lose their characters in the locker room, which is arguably an advantage. How much does that help/hurt you? You could arguably get a more peaceful team environment. I wouldn't doubt it, but you're losing massive talent on the field. So.
Apparently, Ben is much happier. And you know what? Juju is not like a giant step down like a lot of teams would take if they lost their number one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Juju can definitely hold his own there.
I think he's this. I think this is the season that he emerges as a potentially top 5 receiver and establishes himself. The floor is now his. Antonio Brown's gone. He's not going to be crying for 15 touches a game. And they can unfold their offensive potential. So I don't hate this at all. Still, I have questions about the talent that was lost. But James Conner, people think very highly of, more highly than I do for the most part. But so far they have been looking good, and I'm going to agree with you that they're also going to win this game against Tennessee. So that's the full schedule for Week 3 of the preseason. A couple of takeaways we've already discussed with some of the rookies we've been looking at. Kyler Murray, sort of the struggles. A team that usually isn't talked too much about in preseason is the New England Patriots, because you mentioned before that they really don't care too much, or tend to not care much about preseason because it just doesn't count, and Bill Belichick knows that, obviously. No reason to take many risks, but we have seen Patriots starters take considerable amount of snaps. This year, we've seen him obviously be successful so far in the preseason, which is a tell that they might start caring a little bit. They do still want to win, and they have competition going on for backup jobs. Mm-hmm. But a question, I guess, that everyone we've been asking ourselves for, I guess now like 5-6 years now, and probably longer than that. When does it end? And I think right now, the division is set up better for the breakup of the Patriots super guys than it ever was before. I think if the Patriots dynasty had ended in 2013, 2014, I don't think it would have, if say Belichick or Tom Brady had left the team then, they might have still contended for that division. I think that's no longer the case. I believe that if right now, like say next year, the Patriots were to break off, Bill Belichick would leave that team, they are the worst team in their division. How do you look at that?
I agree. I agree. I think Belichick is the glue that holds this thing together. And it's no secret that I had a bold prediction may have been last show or 2 shows ago, that I think this is Tom Brady's last game, or last season, I'm sorry.
All right.
And I don't see Belichick leaving anytime soon, so we're definitely going to find out coming up whether it was Brady or Belichick that pretty much put this thing together, that ran this. I
can tell you who ran it. It's Belichick. I can tell you who ran it, who's responsible. What I know is that it's going to work less efficiently if Brady's gone, because he's the best game manager in the NFL. Let's call it as it is. As a quarterback, he's the most experienced guy. Team leader. He knows what he's a second coach on the field. He knows what he's doing. But without Bill Belichick, no, not at all. That nothing's going to hold together. I know a lot of people love to call out Robert Kraft as the one of the geniuses of the whole situation, the mastermind. They talk about the trifecta of Brady, Belichick, Kraft. I think that owners are generally overrated in a lot of those situations. The smartest decision that Robert Kraft made, and he made one smart decision that led to everything else, was hiring Bill Belichick as his head coach and giving him all the power that he wanted. That's the decision. That's what Robert Kraft did. And other than that, he didn't do much. He was just sitting in the VIP lounge watching his team win football games. He employed Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick drafted Tom Brady. That's, of course, it started with Robert Kraft, but it's not like Robert Kraft is out there every day making football decisions, making winning team decisions. That's all on Bill Belichick. He's the heart and soul of that team to me. And we've been talking for so many years about, like, this is the last season, I'm at this point, I'm not going to predict it anymore. I'm going to believe it when I see it. When I see Brady, Belichick at the podium announcing their retirement, that's when I'll believe it. From the NFL, that's the day that I'm going to start believing it. For Rob Gronkowski, a bit of a different situation. No one really expected him to retire at that age, even though understandable with his accomplishments and also history of injury.
He had mentioned it in previous seasons, but
yes, he had. So, what I want to get to is, I guess, is assume thought experiment. Last season for that constellation. Next year, Bill Belichick leaves. Tom Brady says, "I'm without Belichick. You know, they're reasonably not going to win a Super Bowl." Tom Brady retires, no reason to stay, and everyone's gone. How's the situation looking in the AFC East?
I think it's all the Jets and the Bills to decide that. I don't see Miami stepping up and taking over that division, but I could see either the Bills or the Jets. They both have their franchise quarterbacks in place, and I know you like to believe that Miami does too.
Yes, I do.
I don't know about Adam Gase, really. I've never been an Adam Gase fan, so that's what
I'm somewhat confident about him in Miami there. And Josh Rosen too. I gotta say this. I said this when it happened, and it came together so perfectly. For years, the Patriots break up, the downfall, the end of that dynasty would have resulted in anarchy in the AFC East. It would have been crazy, nothing, right? Right now, I think there's teams there, and even if that Belichick Brady dynamic, the whole system were to stand for a while, I think specifically the Jets and Bills are going to be contending in a year or two, and to me the Dolphins, if staying on the right track, also will. But if that breakup were to happen, I think we have a massive shift, and that shift happens within a year, like within one off season. This time next year, if Brady, Belichick are gone, we're not going to be talking Patriots. We're going to be talking Bills, Jets for the division. Or they're going to be two playoff teams, and one of them is not going to be New England. And that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, because a considerable amount of football fans have never known a world where the Patriots aren't the easy winner of the AFC East and perpetually in the playoffs. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
Most part of my life has been.
Exactly. I love the quarterback talent in the AFC East. You know that I'm all in on Sam Darnold. I'm 95% in on Josh Allen. And listen, I'm going to say the Cardinals have a terrible offensive line, terrible organization, dysfunctional last year. Played the Rams twice a year, played the Seahawks. Have not been looking good. Josh Rosen might have been in over his head, even though I didn't expect him to be very liable to that. I believe in the guy. I think I'm still in on him. I'm gonna trust in what I've seen from him in college and during the draft process, because I know that he is a ready, pro-style, professional-minded quarterback, and he can lead an NFL team to success. And with the Patriots, right now, of course, we've seen Jarrett Stidham make some good plays, and we talked highly about him last week. I don't think they are prepared. If their top guys leave, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously a matter of time, and we'll see when you get there. But we have a bet actually concluded, or basically concluded, that the New York Jets are going to make the playoffs or have a winning record within the next 2 seasons. And I said yes on that, and you said no.
Yeah.
So if...
I agree that they're going to get it together. I just don't think in the next 2 seasons.
So here's the thing, but if you say that this is going to be Tom Brady's last season...
Yes.
Then...
Well, then the field is more open for it, yes.
But you say the Jets aren't going to have a winning record in 2 years, but it's also Tom Brady's last season. So who's going to have is no team going to have a winning record?
Well, look, as long as Belichick is there, I mean, we've seen it happen with Matt Castle and even Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. You know, he can push other guys to win. I mean, Brady that's holding the team together. It's Belichick.
No, it's of course you're right. I was trying to set you up there with a little bit of a contradiction, but yes, you're right. It is Belichick. He's the defensive guy after all. Tom Brady leaving is going to cost you a win or two per season, and maybe a Super Bowl out of the 6 you have, or 2 of them. But not having Bill Belichick is going to cost you everything. It's going to cost you everything. It's going to cost your franchise. It's going to be over. And
I kind of feel like both guys are trying to wait the other one out too, because I think there is a little in-team rivalry amongst Brady and Belichick. I mean, we've seen it with the dismissal, the trading of Garoppolo. Because reportedly Belichick wanted to trade Tom Brady out of the building and continue with the new guy, and then Robert Kraft seemed to be the one to kind of be the last person to block that idea. And the first time he did actually do that, which I don't think sits well with Bill Belichick at all. But do you see a chance that either of those guys actually goes on to play / coach for a different team? I could see Brady if Belichick finally talks Kraft into it, and Brady says, "Oh no, I'm going to play to 45 because that's what I promised." You know, I could see him ending up. You know, I don't know how you would feel about it, but maybe even at the 49ers if Garoppolo doesn't work out this season.
No, I don't think so.
Did he have the 5-year deal, or what was it, 3 or 4?
Yeah, he did. And still, who takes a 41 or 42-year-old Tom Brady in free agency, still being a good quarterback, when first of all, you're going to be paying him money. You don't know how long he's going to be playing at all. He's playing on borrowed time. And you have the 2 of the best quarterbacks to ever presumably entering the draft in the next 2 years.
I'll tell you who does it. The Chiefs did it with Joe Montana.
Chiefs did it with Montana. That's true.
Minnesota did it with Brett Favre.
They did it with Brett Favre. But so that was during a time though in the NFL when there wasn't 30 basically elite quarterbacks, when every team didn't have their guy in place, their franchise quarterback, which is these days is damn near the case. You look at like Cincinnati and a couple of question marks with Tennessee and Tampa Bay, maybe Miami, who really don't have their guy in place, or Denver, but a lot of teams do, and that's gonna become a lot more so in the next couple of years. So I'd be curious to see Bill Belichick somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
How about Belichick saying, "I'm done here"? Like the owner chose his favorite player over me. While I built this whole thing up, I can destroy it. Let me go to a team that right now is in shambles. Let me go coach the Redskins. Let me go coach the Redskins. Give me 5 years. Give me between 5 and 10 years. I'm going to commit to this for the long term still. And I'm going to show them that I raise dynasties. And it doesn't depend on players.
Yeah, and there's a few coaches that are on the chopping block.
This season. And Jay Gruden has to be one of them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
For sure. Of
course. I mean, name aside, that team has been horrid for...
Yeah.
Well, Kirk Cousins had a good season when they win season a few years ago, but
then Alex Smith really never got it together. Now Dwayne Haskins is a question mark, and probably not all that ready. So that is a job that might come open at some point.
Even as much as I don't like to say it, even Dan Quinn's job is probably in the balance depending on how this season goes. So
I think so. If the Falcons don't make the playoffs,
yes, that's. Yeah.
It's got to be a really hot seat.
What would Belichick do with that many weapons, that many offensive weapons?
In Atlanta?
Yes.
Well, he's not necessarily an offensive coach. He'd probably get himself an offensive coordinator to call the plays.
Oh, he would. But he's still going to oversee the entire thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he has. I mean, look at the weapons he has in New England. It's not like New England doesn't have a top 5 weapons group receiving core in the NFL, right?
Only because of the coaching, I think. Though, I mean, he takes
but they've added some big names. They have added some big names more than you would expect them to. You get Edelman, you look Josh Gordon.
Well, I don't think Edelman was a star before. New England. I mean.
Well, no, but he became an elite player in New England.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. But do you think he would be an elite player on a different team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Edelman is an elite receiver with any team.
You think if he went to Miami, he would still be elite? Because Amendola tried that. Tried.
Edelman would be elite.
Okay.
I think so. I think he is. He's that good. Like Julio, you know, if Julio would be elite in any team.
Yeah.
Or Antonio Brown. If he got his act together, he'd be great on the field for every team. I think Edelman is that guy too.
Okay. All right.
He just can play. You've seen it so much from him. You look at Josh Gordon now being back. A lot of talent. Of course, Gronkowski is gone. That's going to have an impact, no doubt. But so far, they've shown that they can overcome the loss of any individual player, especially Bill Belichick. And it's funny you mentioned Montana, but that's very much the Bill Walsh sort of strategy, sort of idea that he used to preach. You get rid of a player a year before they become too bad. Like you try to get rid of someone a year early than a year later.
Yeah, well, which is another reason why you could see Brady on a new team before the end of his career.
Yeah,
because
that will be very much a parallel to Montana's career, like you mentioned.
Yeah, you're right. Even
with the difference, with the difference though being that Robert Kraft might not allow it because when Bill Walsh made that decision, we're gonna go with Steve Young. Mm-hmm. Or for any player, really. Charles Haley left the building early. They got rid of Ronnie Lott. The owner wasn't really interfering too much. They wouldn't really interfere. And Robert Kraft does that. And he doesn't do it much because we've seen Bill Belichick conduct those same sort of roster renewals, so to speak. But with Tom Brady, I think it's a different situation for Kraft because he's been in the building so long. And there's such a history there. And I don't know. It'd be really interesting to see either of them even with different teams and see who can go on to win a ring by themselves. Because if one of them can do that, I think it's going to be a big argument. I don't think Brady will, but I think Belichick could given enough time.
Well, we didn't see. We saw both Favre and Montana come close to getting the ring, but not getting the ring.
Yeah.
Now that would set a precedent if Brady was able to leave and get a ring. But the key ingredient that we're missing in this situation is the backup quarterback. You know, there was Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. You know, there
was Steve Young for
Steve
Montana.
Young. Yeah, we don't have a Steve Young or an Aaron Rodgers in this situation.
Not anymore. You traded him. He now wears number 10 in red.
Yeah, he's playing for the 49ers right now.
And Jacoby Brissett even. He's with the Colts now. He was okay.
Well, he looks good in preseason right now. That's for sure. But that team had a bad O-line too when he first went there. Mm-hmm. Now, if Jacoby Brissett played a season with the offensive line that they have right now, he may be amazing.
He might. He just might be. Well, the Colts have a pretty good offensive line.
Yes.
That is a fact. But we'll see about the Patriots' development. I'm curious to see when it happens, because we know it will happen. In what fashion does it happen? Will it be spectacular? Will it not? Will they just retire, walk off into the sunset together, not to join another team? Or is there going to be some more competition for sort of the King of the Hill award, which I would really like to see. But Belichick is going to need 5 years. He's going to have to get 5 years with another team to set himself up. Whereas Brady, if Tom Brady jumped onto a great team with a not so good quarterback, he could probably make the difference. I'm struggling to even come up with that team right now, but
the only things I can think of is the Titans, the Bucks, the Dolphins,
But are they
the
good
Raiders.
teams? Are they contenders? Are those teams a quarterback away?
Oh no.
No, they're not, right?
Probably not. Yeah. Yeah. The Raiders maybe. I don't. With Antonio Brown.
So. It doesn't see like maybe like the 2016 Jaguars when Blake Bortles was really exactly what was holding them back for the most part.
Yeah.
That sort of team.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. The Jags could be it.
Jaguars could be it for sure if Nick Foles doesn't work out. So that's a candidate at least. But I'm curious to see if that happens. But I can just as well see them play another 2 to 3 years together in New England, win another Super Bowl, and then retire together, which would be the least spectacular.
Yeah, that would be.
But maybe the most likely. I don't know.
Probably the most likely, but the most horrible scenario to think about.
not the most pleasant idea. Yeah, that is true. So enough Patriots talk. Let's close this out. We're getting closer to the season we've mentioned, which means this is now right now the hot period for fantasy football and fantasy football drafts. Now you and I had a fantasy football draft with our buddies JJ and Hollywood, which is, by the way, now live on Beyond Football and probably at this point also on your channel. And it was fun. We had a 4-team league, huge teams, 21 rounds. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty cool event, but drafts are still happening. I'm still in the middle of some drafts, and the kind of the latest tips and insights from Smokey right now after week 2 of the preseason. Smokey, what is your latest news and updates in the world of fantasy football?
All right, that was actually a really fun draft. I'd never actually a draft that went on for that long. I mean, it was because we had
I love the
teams.
offline draft. I love the offline draft. I always, whenever possible, I do offline drafts. It's so much more fun
in the past, and they're always fun.
It's much cooler than all that.
We do run into situations like Hollywood drafting players that were already drafted.
Yeah,
but all right, got a few news and notes for fantasy this week. What do you got? Ronald Jones is actually dealing. He's out of practice right now because he's dealing with a swollen knee. Ronald Jones was expected to make I don't know what you would call it, not even a comeback, but something better than what he did, because right now he's looking like a bust. But there's some people that are high on Ronald Jones.
Breakout maybe?
Yeah, maybe a breakout, but I don't see that happening. I see him just becoming somewhat relevant. I don't see him actually breaking out myself, but it's a possibility, and people are high on him. Mike Evans, same team here, dealing with a quad issue. Reports right now say it's not that serious, but he is missing practice, and that is a high draft pick to lose if you've already drafted.
Yeah.
So you want to keep an eye on that. Hey, Darius Geis, we've mentioned him quite a few times.
Yes.
He is expected to finally play in the 3rd preseason game.
Wonderful.
It'll be the first action we've seen out of him since he's gotten drafted. Of course, everyone knows now that Josh Gordon is back. So look for him to return to his old role. His ADP is low right now because of where he was going.
Yeah.
If you're drafting right now or within the next day or so, before the fantasy world catches up, before ADP actually, comes to light, you could probably get a really good deal on Josh Gordon.
Yeah, I've seen him like the day that he was reinstated, and people started listing him. I've seen him around wide receiver 25 on a lot of lists.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to rise from that as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Andrew Luck still will not practice this week. Now, we got a little bit of hope seeing him out there warming up before the preseason game the other day, but he's still not practicing, which sounds bad. Apparently they're running through his full speed movement versus his pain threshold, according to Frank Wright. So take of that what you will. I really want to see him get healthy before the beginning of the season, and not because I've drafted him, because I actually haven't. I've been staying away because I draft risk averse. If you haven't noticed, but
yeah, I have noticed that. Sometimes you like to reach some, but then you have a good reason to do that.
Yes, exactly. Paris Campbell, if you're drafting him or planning on it, he will be ready. Or I'm sorry, there will be no guarantee that he will be ready for Week 1. So. Some people were high on him, thinking that he could possibly take over as WR1 for T.Y. Hilton sometime this year, which I don't personally believe, but
not this year. No, it's
no.
not that time yet.
Speaking of another rookie, and okay, I was looking for my Hollywood Brown story, but it ended up being my Antonio Brown story.
All right.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's finish it off with this one. Demaryius Thomas has been reactivated from the PUP list. And what does that mean for Josh Gordon? What does that mean for Edelman? I don't know that Demaryius Thomas has been completely relevant in fantasy in the years past, but not over the past 2 seasons. But having a full season, knowing the playbook now, having a full season with the Patriots, who are known to take scrubs and turn them into stars. Not saying that Demaryius Thomas is a scrub. He's actually a really good player, and he always has been. It just, things went south his last few years with the Broncos. And Emmanuel Sanders passed him on the depth chart. But this is interesting. Where are the targets going this season? Brady's not a super deep threat, deep passing threat anymore. Not as much as he used to be. The guy's getting some age on him. So,
do you ever see a guy like Demaryius Thomas you mentioned, or even Josh Gordon, kicking inside to potentially try out play sort of a tight end role? Because you got people like Larry Fitzgerald, or you had Anquan Bolden, who very much did that as receivers, or Vincent Jackson, if you remember him. So do you think that's a possibility at all, with Gronk now being gone?
Yeah, well, Fitz has moved to the slot, and he has been there for the past 6 years or so. Thomas is actually big enough. That's interesting that you bring that up. Thomas is actually big enough that he could probably play tight end.
And the first thing one of the first things that receivers lose once they're on the wrong side of 30 is their speed. And switching into tight end can make up for a lot of that. Yeah. Because the blocking ability is definitely there.
Yes. Wow, that's a really good thing that I haven't thought about. They have gone out and signed about 4,000 tight ends this offseason, searching for the one. There's not going to be another Gronk. They missed out on Kittle, so I don't think there's going to be another Gronk anytime soon. At least not one off waivers or that they're going to be able to trade for. So that is actually a really good suggestion. We'll see.
I'd be curious to at least see that, and maybe they'll try it out, because I think they have plenty of receiving depth. I don't worry about their receiving quality or depth, with Edelman, N'Keal Harry now the rookie coming in, looking to make an impact. Josh Gordon now being back, and still a lot of receiving running backs too in that offense. So I'd be curious. It seems like an experiment worth considering.
It's interesting because they spend money for Demaryius Thomas. He wasn't on a rookie deal. He wasn't cheap. The man's 31 years old, and he's been elite in the past. Yeah. So, I'm not sure exactly. I don't have the numbers right in front of me what his contract was, but seems like a lot of money to spend for a WR4 that's just going to hang out on the sideline most of the game. So, it's a really interesting thought. That would be. I think I'd like to see that. As a matter of fact, I would love to see him switch over.
And that has to be something that also goes through Bill Belichick's mind before you cut someone. That's something you try out, because it just fits. It just fits sort of well, and you've seen it before. You have plenty of players be able to do that and make that sort of transition to stretch their career for a couple of years.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea if he intends to do that, it's not beyond Bill Belichick to make
No.
wild swings like that. So
it depends on the guy if he's cool with that. You sometimes like you got a guy like Des Bryant, he wouldn't do that because he's gonna be. I'm gonna play on the perimeter, wide receiver 1, or I'm not gonna play. And turns out he's not playing. But if you're ready, if you're willing to adapt, you might have another year or two in the system like that. If you're willing to do that sort of work and shift your job. But that's gonna be up to them to decide, obviously, and we'll see. We are looking forward to week 3 of the preseason. Obviously, next week's scoreboard, we are going to be reviewing that. Looking forward to week 4, and then we're going on to the regular season, and it's coming really fast. And I'm just hyped. I'm just hyped right now. I'm ready. I think most things have been said and done, at least for today. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you did enjoy the show. And if you are watching on Beyond Football, please go check out Smokey's YouTube channel. It's called The Trash Talkers, running it with his buddy Hollywood. And the perfect video to watch would be our fantasy draft. It's pretty long video, but it's a very entertaining one. It was fun. We had a really good time drafting our fantasy league, and I think Hollywood and JJ also kind of enjoyed it. They did some preparation work, some more than the other maybe, but it was fun anyway, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It was a great time. So thanks for listening to this. Smokey, you got anything to say?
No, just check out those channels. Links are in the description. If you want to check out some of the podcasts we do, definitely do that. It's a kind of a comedy podcast mixed with esoteric topics and news and notes from the crazy world we live in. So check those out, and definitely check out Trash Can TV. And if you're watching on the Trash Talkers channel, go check out Beyond Football, which is the home base for this podcast here. He does a lot of great football and beyond football videos, so definitely check
like
that
fantasy
out.
Drafts now, apparently.
Yes, exactly.
But yes, it is going to be football season, and I'm looking forward to this. We're also planning a weekly prediction show for the regular season, which we're going to keep count in that one. We're going to keep track of all our scores and see who's a better genie.
Yeah.
I'll find that out. So that's going to be interesting. But for now, we are done. Thank you for watching, everybody. And we're going to see you in the next one.
Deuces.